back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my pregnancy update from weeks 27 through 32. So I've got some notes here that I want to reference just to make sure that I cover everything. So with the last video, I was just, I think, a few weeks away from a follow-up appointment. Right, that was my glucose test, and all of that went well. Pretty much everything with the appointment went well. I did pass my glucose test. It wasn't as terrible as I expected. Still not fun, but not as terrible as I expected. I did feel a little off after drinking all of that sugar, but I didn't feel as flu-like as I expected to feel, which sometimes can happen to me if I eat too much sugar. So that all that was good. The only thing was when she measured me, measured my uterus from top to bottom, I was on the low end. So there was some concern that baby was measuring behind. It's not an exact science, which is why they just use it as a guide. And so they said if I was still measuring behind on my next appointment, that they would then do an ultrasound just to check on her growth and her health and that kind of stuff. So I had that follow-up appointment this past Tuesday, and when she measured me again, I was back on track. So everything is all good, which was really great to hear. And she did check to see if baby was head down, which they had also checked last time, and the midwife who did it that time thought that she was 80% sure that baby was head down. So I think they check it every time now since you're, getting towards the end. But this time she wasn't all that sure that she was head down, but when she was trying to figure it out, they kind of have to move your belly around and stuff and, feel around for her. And so right after that, she measured the heart rate, and because she had just been kind of fussing with her, her heart rate was a little bit higher. And then we could hear that. And then we heard it come down and get back to normal. And the midwife said that that's a really good sign, that the blood flow to the placenta and stuff is what it's supposed to be, that her heart rate responded in a normal way. So that was very reassuring. So another thing is that some of her movements are more strong now. Every now and then they're a little bit painful, but not, it only lasts for like a few seconds, or it might feel like she's sticking, a foot out or a butt cheek out or something. And if I just kind of like gently push back to where she's shoving that limb out, she'll eventually like adjust herself. So it's, while it can be painful in the moment, it usually doesn't last very long. So that's good. And I still really appreciate being able to feel her move. Let's see, I do think that she's head down most of the time because I feel a lot of pressure in my pelvis. I think that she still moves around and switches positions sometimes, because when the midwife found the heartbeat at the last appointment, it was a little bit higher up. So I feel like, she maybe was not head down, but the other times we've found it pretty low down. And I don't feel kicks to my bladder anymore. I still feel pressure on my bladder, but not kicks. So it does feel more like, you know, her head moving around in the area. Also, she now, well, she's done it before. I just didn't realize that this was what it was at the time. But she gets hiccups, and the first few times that I felt it, they were so sporadic, like so far apart that because it only happened like 2, maybe 3 times before the third trimester, and it kind of felt like a muscle twitch. So I just dismissed it as that. And then I think it was because I read about it, or it just kind of clicked or something. But it happened last week, and I just kind of realized like, oh, maybe this is hiccups. And I looked it up, and it can feel like muscle twitches. So that's another thing, is that when I feel her hiccups, I feel them lower down. So that's another reason why I think that she's head down most of the time, which is good. But I've still been looking up different positions to try out to encourage her to be head down. So speaking of pressure on my bladder, I am now wearing panty liners because I don't even feel it happen, but I noticed one day, I think early third trimester, that I was having some leaking. So that's nice, but it's common, so I'm not concerned about it. It's just a nuisance more than anything else, because like I don't even feel it happen. And then yeah, so rather than having to change my underwear a couple of times a day, I just started wearing some panty liners. So with my meals and snacks and stuff, I'm still taking all that one day at a time. I will at least say that I still love fruit, so there's that. I have plenty of fruit in my diet. I think it's just struggling to get more veggies into my diet, and just struggling with craving comfort foods right now. And I think it's probably just a combination of the stress and the hormones from being pregnant, and then just, you know, the quarantine lifestyle that's still going on. And I just have to, like I said, take it day by day. So this too shall pass. So one exciting thing that actually we're leaving for today is we are taking a little baby moon. We're just going up north to a little resort for an extra long weekend. So yeah, I'll have an update about how that went in my next video, and my next pregnancy video, and which I plan to do around 38 weeks, because even though it's likely that she won't come, you know, quite that early, because this is my first pregnancy, there's of course a chance that she could, and I don't want to have to worry about filming after I've already had her. So I just want to get it out of the way, and I don't think that there will be too much that happens between, you know, 38 weeks and when she comes, especially that I, you know, can't address in my like postpartum video, just to like go back and mention anything of significance from those couple of weeks. So let's see, another thing we have coming up is our baby showers. We're having 2 virtual baby showers because we have so many people on both sides of our family. Thought it might get a little complicated to do one virtual baby shower and try and like have that many people participate virtually. It just might get a little like chaotic, and not everyone would really be able to like interact as much if there's that many people. So we have one on one weekend and another one on the following weekend. So I'll have an update on that as well. And we are looking at some parenting classes and breastfeeding classes. So trying to get those in the books. And the nursery is coming along. We're just waiting on the recliner rocker that we got for the room, and that should actually be getting delivered next week. So and then we just have to figure out the nightstand, because we have some other furniture in there, so we want, we don't want it to be like super cramped, so we're just trying to find the right nightstand that will work and like look well with the other furniture that we have in there. So, but those are really the only two pieces that we have left, and then just a matter of organizing. So I hope to do a nursery video in the not too distant future. So another thing is, like, in terms of the third trimester, is that I've noticed my belly like really kind of feeling like it's stretching out. I haven't gotten a ton of stretch marks to speak of, and most of the ones that I do are just on the one side, not really much on the front, and a lot fewer on my right side for whatever reason. But also just in terms of like how like it feels physically, it just sometimes, like some nights I'll just feel like everything is being like pushed outward, and it's definitely uncomfortable, and there's no changing positions to make it feel, I mean, there are certain like positions that feel better to sit in, but nothing that completely gets rid of that just like enormous pressure. It's just, yeah, it's crazy. Luckily it doesn't last very long, and it's only happened like maybe 4 or 5 times, so it's not horrible. But when it is happening, it's extremely uncomfortable, I will say. But just comes with the territory. And then another thing is sleeping. So I know in my last video I was talking about how it was still going pretty well, and had been for most of the pregnancy, and that's mostly still true, but I am now noticing some bouts of insomnia, unfortunately. I will get up to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night and then come back and, try and go back to sleep, and my brain will just be awake. Like my mind just won't be tired. And so then while trying to fall back asleep, I start thinking about all the things that we have left to do, and just, nerves about becoming a first-time parent and all that stuff. So then my mind starts to wander, and then before I know it, I'm like, oh crap, I'm supposed to be asleep right now. But by then my mind will already be even more awake because it's been thinking about things. So it hasn't happened a ton, but it's definitely happened more now than it was before. So yeah, just trying to prepare myself mentally for that continuing, and hopefully I can do some things to, help encourage myself to be able to fall asleep. So, making lists and stuff of what's left to do and putting a plan in place, so that at least when I am trying to fall back asleep, those things aren't as much of a stress factor and don't you know, just facilitate the not being able to fall back asleep. So, but I do think some of it just is like pregnancy, because when I get up to go to the bathroom and come back, it's not like I've been thinking about or like just had like a bad dream or something that's keeping my mind awake. It's just like suddenly I'm just awake. So yeah, we'll see how the sleep progresses as this third trimester progresses. So I think that that was everything that I wanted to cover. And so then that brings us to the last little bit, which is another bump date. Oh, I think, you know what? I can't remember if I mentioned that when we're on our baby moon this weekend, we're going to be doing some maternity photos. My husband dabbles in photography, so he is going to be taking them, and we're going to be bringing the tripod with us to try and get some with him in them as well, because of course I want him to be in some of them. So I will try to include some of those in the next video as well. Okay, so bump date. Maybe I'll insert a photo from before so that you can kind of see the before. So definitely grown a bit. It's been interesting trying to find clothes that don't look like they're not meant to be worn by someone with a pregnant belly, because I haven't gotten a whole lot of maternity clothes. I've gotten a few, but since, you know, until recently, I've been able to get away with wearing a lot of my regular clothes. I didn't want to spend a lot of money investing in things, especially since a lot of the stuff that I got was online. So that meant that I couldn't try it on, which was, you know, in and of itself a hassle, because we don't go a whole lot of places. And so Target was the best option. And to be honest, I don't care for Target's maternity clothes. So yeah, I haven't had like a ton. The ones that I have found that I've really liked have all been from Stitch Fix. This top is actually from Stitch Fix, and actually the pants are too. So if you are looking for maternity clothes, I do recommend Stitch Fix. And you can get things like you can actually do a bit of shopping. It's not everything that they have available, but just kind of like suggestions based on your style, that so you don't have to get a box delivered to you. You can pick things out individually and shop that way now too. So I like that aspect. So yeah, so that's baby girl. She's coming along. Apparently, according to my app, she is the size of a pineapple. All right, so that is the first half of the third trimester. Just got the last half to go, and getting really excited to meet our baby girl. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.